When Netflix first started in 1997, it wasn't a streaming platform. It was an online movie rental site. It essentially served to save consumers the trip to Blockbuster or Hollywood Video to rent out movies by allowing them to rent them online and having it delivered to their mailbox. A process called DVD by mail movie rental. This was really only the beginning for the company. In 2007, they began their movie streaming business that allowed consumers to scroll through the movie catalog and watch movies directly off their laptops, TVs, or computers. This was the beginning of the end for physical media. The store Hollywood Video ceased operations in 2010, and by 2014, Blockbuster's 8,999 stores were closed, leaving only the last remaining Blockbuster in Bend, Oregon. With streaming platforms, Netflix and Hulu on the rise, ain't nobody gonna get off their ass just to go to a store to rent out a movie, to get back on their ass and watch it. And I don't blame them. With the new technology coming out, just like the first iPhone in 2007, everything was made more convenient with the touch of a button. Literally. So then why am I making this video? Why am I trying to convince you to buy physical media? Well, to start off, there's Netflix, Hulu, Prime, Max, Disney Plus, Peacock, Discovery, Paramount Plus, Apple TV, and I would still have to pay on top of a subscription to watch any of the Scooby-Doo movies. There are plenty of problems with streaming platforms, but because this video isn't necessarily about streaming platforms in particular, I'm just gonna give you guys some of the main reasons why they are horrible. To not get too far into the details with residuals, let's use Squid Game for an example. Squid Game earned Netflix $900 million, but the creator got no royalty, which he said himself is the reason why we have Squid Game 2 and Squid Game 3.
Though the global hit generated about $1 billion in value for Netflix after its debut in September 2021, the show's cast and creators didn't see much of the windfall.
시즌 2를 해야 그 시즌 1의 성공에 대한 어떤 보상이 따를 수 있는 걸 알았기 때문에 그런 또 문제도 제 결정에 영향을 줬습니다.
Actors starting in one of Netflix's most popular original series, Orange is the New Black, came on to talk about residuals and how royalties worked when they first started happening through streaming platforms. Streaming platforms were actually one of the main reasons why we had the SAG-AFTRA strikes in 2023, because actors, writers, and crew were not being paid livable wages for their work on streaming platforms. Netflix, in particular, would only count residuals 90 days after release of the show on their platform. Most viewers, however, watch these shows and movies within like the first month of them coming out. So the actors would miss out on most of their revenue because Netflix wouldn't start counting their royalties until after those 90 days. This is a major flaw in streaming platforms, and because at the time they were so new and still are technically new, they're still working out the kinks of contracts and finding ways to pay the actors and the crew livable wages off of streaming platforms. Just to throw it out there though, actors and crew do get residuals for physical media upon release. Censorship was actually one of the main reasons why I started having a physical media collection. When films are on streaming platforms, they are subject to any changes after their release. This is not a new concept, especially if you're a Star Wars fan, then you know the drill. But owning a physical copy of a film or a TV show would ensure that you get an unaltered copy of that media. Disney Plus is a service known for altering their films after they've been released years after. For example, the Lilo and Stitch laundry scene, as you may recall, where Lilo gets inside the laundry, has been removed from the Disney Plus version of the film. She now goes into a drawer. I actually found this Reddit page dedicated to pointing out all the things that Disney Plus has seemingly altered or censored throughout its release. A lot of them are because they were either racist or just didn't age well, but others are seemingly for no reason. I actually recently saw a TikTok which solidified my stance on physical media and why I think it's important for the conservation of art.
Intro to Robin Hood 2010. Notice how the intro's gone? You can't read it. You can't read what it says. Do you know what it says? You know what it's supposed to say? It's supposed to say, in times of tyranny and injustice, when law oppresses the people, the outlaw takes his place in history. I wonder why, right now, Amazon Prime would take that out.
I'm actually so happy that I own the original Lilo and Stitch copy from when I was a child, and this includes the laundry scene, which I actually love so much. Unless you own the physical product, those films and TV shows that you love are subject to change or altered at any given moment, or even taken away. When a film is released, it will strike a distribution deal with a certain streaming platform for a certain amount of time. For example, the Harry Potter franchise has shared rights with Warner Bros. And Universal, which is why the franchise will sometimes switch between Max and Peacock every so often. Meaning if you wanted to binge the series, you would have to hope that they are on the streaming platform you pay for in order to watch it. These sorts of deals are sometimes exclusive to the streaming platform or they are shared. The deals expire after some time, so if the streaming service doesn't renew that deal with the film or TV show, it will no longer be available on their platform, which is why you may see that films are leaving soon on any given streaming platform. This type of process forces consumers like you and I to own all of the streaming platforms, or as many as possible, in order to have the most accessibility to all the media your heart could desire. There is no promise to what media will be available after a period of time. Since your average consumer could not possibly pay the always rising prices of these endless streaming services, most of us have resorted to sharing accounts. I was the designated password sharer for my friends, but recently, streaming services have started to crack down on practices like sharing your password. Netflix and Max, primarily, by raising the subscriptions in order to have more guests be able to log in at once, or by tracking IP to see if the people who are using the account live in the same household. I have to constantly approve that I am part of the household for Netflix because I use my dad's account and I live in Orlando, and having to log into his email every time I want to watch Netflix is so annoying. These practices are simply because of greed. They want every single person possible to be paying for their subscriptions. On average, American households that subscribe to streaming video entertainment services said they pay $61 per month for 4 services. That is up to 27% from the $48 per month on last year's survey. And let's not even talk about putting ads on services that previously did not have ads, or forcing you to pay more in order to have an ad-free experience. Now that we discussed only some of the problems with streaming platforms, let's talk about why most people don't buy physical media. When it comes to buying anything digitally, whether it be games, music, films, you don't really own it. Let's say I wanted to buy the Scooby-Doo movie on Prime Video. I only really own that film for as long as Amazon is a thing. Sure, maybe the company outlives me, but what if it doesn't? Your collection of films is lost because you never really owned the product. The same could be said with any digital film service. You own it until you don't. And it really is all about the ownership. When you're paying for a subscription, you don't get to keep any of the films or TV shows on the site. And when you purchase the film on a site, there's always a risk of losing access to that media that you purchased. Nobody can take a physical DVD from you unless someone breaks into your house and takes all of your physical media.
I'm gonna start it off slow. I'm gonna scope the scenery out. Watch out.
Most DVDs and Blu-rays will actually include a digital access code for you to watch the movie digitally. The physical discs also have a higher bit rate and better audio quality than a digital film. I'm not entirely sure how the science behind that works, but when you watch a physical movie from a DVD or a Blu-ray disc, you can tell the difference from the quality rather than a digital. One of my main reasons for collecting is the nostalgia of it all. I'm gonna take you guys down to memory lane really quick. When I was very young in good old Cuba, there was a bunch of street vendors that would sell pirated DVDs and films from America. My dad would come home from his job and he'd bring us a bunch of new DVDs to watch. Most of the times you didn't even know what sort of media was actually on the DVD, but through these DVDs in Cuba, I got to watch Hannah Montana and some of the shows that have actually stuck with me throughout my adult life. These are pieces of media that I remember and actually still own to this day. They've traveled from Cuba to the United States. That is absolutely insane to me, the fact that I can still watch the Hannah Montana episodes that I grew up on. What? Once I came to the US, there were still street vendors outside of grocery stores. I actually don't know if this was in other states because I grew up in Miami, so it's it was just Cuba 2.0. So it's not very much different. Maybe that didn't exist elsewhere, but there were street vendors that would sell pirated DVDs and TV shows. I would beg my parents to buy them every time I saw them selling.
I do also want to make a note of Redbox, which was also a movie rental service that I used frequently growing up. There was a Redbox at literally every single store I would go to. So I rented a lot of movies and we would check every single time that we went to the grocery store to see if any new movies had shown up. Now Redboxes are dying all across the nation. I actually recently tried seeing if I could find any and no luck. Couldn't find a single one. So support physical media.
I had a DVD sleeve case that I would flip through and I would watch the same films over and over again. Lilo and Stitch was actually one of the films that I would just watch over and over and over again. It actually includes a game in one of the bonus features that now I've come to realize was literally just 4 different videos played on loop. I forgot the word. It was scattered around so you wouldn't know which video was gonna come out. And you would essentially bet on which Stitch was going to win the race. That's just one of the few bonus features that I loved on DVDs. That game wasn't even technically playable. They were literally just scamming us. We thought we had to click on the remote quick and then that's how one of them would win. But no, it was just a video playing the whole time. Yep, But I still have very fond memories of playing this with my brother and just watching the bonus features of every DVD I owned. It felt like I was getting a sneak peek into something that nobody else knew about. One of my main reasons for starting a physical media collection outside of the ownership is to show my children. There's something that genuinely brings me joy about being able to pop in a movie that I loved as a child and being able to re-experience it and show hopefully my future kids. I do have to mention that all good things must come to an end at one point or another. A DVD's lifespan ranges from 30 to 100 years, but although the DVD itself might not make it, these files can still be transferred on to either a computer, a hard drive, another DVD. So you still get to own and keep the unaltered media that you love for as long as the media keeps getting transferred. Thankfully, there are still plenty of places where you can still buy physical media. There are obviously the major retailers that still sell, which are Barnes & Nobles, Walmart, Target. Some of my favorite places to find physical media is the thrift store. However, if we want physical media to continue to stay alive, then we have to seek out newer movies and purchase them as physical copies. Because the newer the film, the more the sales impacts the longevity of the art. In order to keep the physical media industry alive, we have to support it financially. That means we can't only purchase physical media through thrift stores, because that revenue and that sale will not impact the physical media industry whatsoever. A24 is really killing the game right now. They sell merch and produce movies, but they also sell physical media. This is not sponsored by them, but I'm about to gas them up really fucking hard right now. My brother bought me the After Sun Blu-ray because I love this film so much, and it came with little posters about the film. I highly recommend looking into their membership. It is $10 every month, but you get access to a free ticket to every film produced by A24. This month, they've given us 4 tickets. It's an amazing way to support original stories. Every month, they actually give you $5 back. So if you save up your $5, you can purchase a physical media or cute merch. I actually own a t-shirt from their movie Problemista. Every July and November, Barnes & Noble holds a 40% off of the Criterion collection. The Criterion collection is a huge collection of films both physically and digitally. You might have seen some YouTube videos of your favorite celebrities in a closet full of movies, picking out their favorite films and talking about them. Those films are able to be purchased online on Amazon and at Barnes & Noble's. I think the sale is also held on Amazon. I'm not entirely sure if they're the same months, but you best believe this July I'm walking into my Barnes & Noble's and purchasing as many Criterions as I can. They do end up on the pricey side without that sale, but I do think it's a great way to support physical media by going on July or November and purchasing your favorite copies of your favorite films while they're on sale. You save 40% off. That's insane. When it comes to older films, it is probably in your best interest to find them at a thrift store or buying them used on Amazon, because those sales won't really be impacting the physical media industry as much as purchasing a newer film will. Best Buy no longer sells physical media other than vinyls since the start of 2024. I think that goes to show that it's a dying art, and I'm hopeful with the rise of physical media that Best Buy will get back into the market and begin selling them again. I'm hopeful, I'm praying. I have found a good portion of my physical media collection at the thrift store. There's something so adrenaline inducing to being able to find a niche film that you love for $3 at Goodwill. In comparison to the $61 monthly average spent on streaming platforms, finding your favorite media for $3 really does begin to start scratching an itch. Walmart also has some pretty cheap DVDs, and every now and then you'll find some cheap Blu-rays that bring multiple movies together. I actually just picked up the 4-film Lego set. Brings the Lego Movie 2, Batman, and Ninjago. I love 3 out of the 4. I've never seen this, and I don't think I'll like it, not gonna lie. You know me and my love for Scooby-Doo. I found the 4-film collection. It had the same cover as this, but I thought this was fugly, so I made my own. And I fear I ate, right? And then I just copied the same back. I got those for $5. If you're interested in seeing my physical media collection, I just dropped a YouTube video showing you guys my collection as of late. I also have a list on Letterboxd that I update every time I purchase a new physical product. So make sure to follow me on there so you can keep up to date with every film I purchase and add to the collection. I'm not asking you to cancel all of your streaming services. I think that would be a crazy call to action to end this with. All I ask is that the next time you go to a thrift store or Walmart or Target, you check out the physical media, and maybe you'll find one of your favorite films films. All I'm asking is that you support a dying art every now and then. I hope that this video made you consider starting a physical media collection. It's something I really enjoyed growing, and it's something I'm pretty proud of, even though I only have like 50. I can't wait to continue growing my collection and hopefully passing it on. I do think physical media is making a come up. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you've purchased any physical media recently and how big your collection is. Make sure to follow me on all of my socials, which includes my Letterboxd. And I hope you guys are having a nice day. Bye!